In this video, I'm going to show you how to work within Revit to build a timber frame structure. This structure is going to go on these caisson foundations that we constructed earlier. To give you a sense of something similar in terms of how the foundations work, there's this image showing these kind of cabins, and they're raised up on these concrete piers or caissons, and there is some timber framing that is resting on those caissons. So we're going to build a structure that has a combination of the caissons, some girders, beams, and decking. So we're going to start with making a change to these concrete elements. I'm holding down the control key and I'm selecting all 9 of them. Just going to drop top of them to -4. And this will give us some space in which to add these other structural members. Next thing that I'm going to do is bring in some components or some families. So I'm going to insert load Autodesk family, and I'll start over here. The first thing that I'm going to bring in, I'm going to first search for timber. Right, and I'm going to bring in a timber column. So I've selected that one and I'm going to click on load. There's a bunch of sizes in here, and I'm going to look for one that's an 8x8. Okay, and as you can see, its dimensions in plan are 7.5 by 7.5, and I'm going to hit OK. Now I'm going to go back to the Autodesk, load Autodesk family, and I'm, under the same timber selection here, I'm going to click on this one right here, which will act as a bunch of beams. And I'm going to scroll down till I find an 8x18. And hold down Control and select 8x24. Okay, so we're going to be working with an 8-inch module. Now you may find, if you do some preliminary calculations for how big these members are going to be, that maybe one of them, like the one in the center here, needs to be a larger one because it's taking more load, and the ones around the perimeter are a little smaller. But sometimes when things are exposed and you want there to be a kind of consistency in the detail, you may go with the one that's the biggest in terms of its load requirements and just apply that to all the rest, which is what I'm going to do here. So I'm going to click on OK. Right, and those have been brought all in, and I'm going to actually bring in one more item from the Autodesk library. I'll type in dimension lumber and click on that and load. And this time I'm looking for a 3x6. I hadn't brought that in before. That's going to be the decking that we use for this part of the project. Okay. One last thing I'll bring in, and you'll find this link in the assignment information, but I'm on the Simpson Strong Tie website, and I'm going to download on this page. You would scroll down till you get to the downloads here, and I'm looking for one that is called APVB88. This is the Revit download that I need right here. I'm going to click on that and download it to my computer, and then I'm going to go back to Revit and I will insert that component. Instead of going to load Autodesk family, I'll just go to load family and I will browse to find that item. So the first thing that I'll bring in to the Revit workspace here is the columns. They're going to bear on these caissons that I've already brought in. I'm going to make this part of the model like just a deck that's open to the sky. And this part here will just have the floor and a roof. So the size and the heights of some of the columns will be different. I'm going to go to level 1. And I'll go over to this part of the model. I'm going to go to structure and column. And, if you don't see it, you'll go to this pull down menu. We're looking for this 8x8 timber column. And I'm click on vertical column. It was preset to slanted column for some reason. So I'm going to go ahead and place this here, and I've clicked on the grid intersection, and then I'm going to click on the column and make the revisions to it. So again, my base offset is going to be -3 feet, 10.5 inches. And the top offset is going to be 3 feet, 4 inches. And I'm going to apply that. All right, now let's have a look at it in 3D. And there we go. Something that's not quite right about that. Let's see here, level 0 is -3 and 10. Let's take a look at it from the south elevation. Okay. I want that. This is something you want to do before you make the copies that we're going to do next. This should have a relationship to level 0. Or, excuse me, level 1. Let's put both of them at level 1 with those same offsets. There we go. There's going to be a little gap above the caisson there, and it should protrude above level 1. And now what I'm going to do is make some copies of this. Click on copy, and I'm going to snap. Let's see here. I'm going to go to level 1. Do this again. Copy, and I'll make my copies by snapping to these grid endpoints. I'm going to make one more copy and place it on the one above. But before I make the copies for the rest of them, I'm going to make a change. So as I mentioned, this one will be, this will form a railing for a deck, but this one is going to go higher. So we want to bring it up to just below level 2. So I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to change its top level to level 2. And I'm going to make that top level offset -2.5 inches. Okay. Right now, let's take a look at it from the south elevation. And yes, it's going to go up just below level 2. Okay. Now I'll make copies of that one. So I'm going to go back to level 1, click on that column, copy, and then I'll copy these 3. This endpoint to this endpoint. Take one more look at it in 3D. Okay. Do a little orbit so we can see how they look when they're not in alignment, like from that view. Okay, there we go. So these are a little bit taller than these front ones.